Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to the climax and of these Bloodborne OST reactions. I promise you guys that yes, we were going to get to the end of this eventually, and we conclude Bloodborne tonight with the Moon Presence. Now, as I alluded to before, this is the secret final boss of the main story of Bloodborne. Once you defeat Ganem, the Moon Presence will descend into the Hunter's Dream, and of this, one of two things happen. If you did not collect 3 umbilical cords, the Moon Presence consumes you and gives you some sort of it gives you something. I imagine. I'm not entirely sure what it gives you, but it leaves you as taking Gurman's place, and the doll wields you in the direction of the workshop, and just says that and the hunt will begin again. So it's a cycle destined to repeat itself until somebody probably collects the 3 umbilical cords. Now, if you did collect the 3 umbilical cords in the game, the Moon Presence will not grant you insight or knowledge, and, well, basically you fight it. Now, the reason why it's probably one of the lesser boss fights of the game is that it's not just because you end the fight on an archaic Great One boss fight, something as similar to, let's say, the Cleric Beast or Elbritus, or even something like, I don't know, maybe Vicar Amelia, who we fought way back earlier in the game. But it's also for the fact that Gurnem, maybe in terms of how the story goes, the fight for Gurnem is a lot probably better presented, and it has more of a climax. It was almost destined, really, that the man who's been helping us, the man who's been giving us this power all this time, he would prove to be. And bear in mind, Gurnem gives you the choice of letting you die in the Hunter's Dream and waking up in the real world. The Moon Presence doesn't really give you much of anything because it already sees you as some sort of threat. And essentially, from this point, it's basically 2 Great Ones going to war against each other for the fate of the Hunter's Dream. And this is the fate of the Hunter's Dream itself in boss fight form. It's like a ritual of death. manifested into a nightmare. It's fitting easily. One of the most evil-sounding creatures in this game would turn out to be our final, just challenge, just to see if at this point, if we can take on and defeat the Moon Presence, then really, it's almost as though we've earned our rightful spot amongst them. Because, well, I suppose this is as good a time as any to explain the true ending. Well, the not really the true ending. I don't really think this game has like true or bad endings. I like to imagine this game has what I call the waking up ending, the hunt begins again ending, and the are you cold ending. And where defeating the Moon Presence is the are you cold ending. And here it is. Well, we skip ahead and you see the Moon Presence tries to absorb you and you say no, you reject him. It's such an evil but fantastic looking thing, though.
Are you cold? Oh, good hunter.
It may seem as though it's a bit hard to articulate how the quote-unquote best ending to the game involves being turned into it turned into a baby great one in the form of squid of a squid. But I suppose it's interesting to know that no matter what happens, the doll loves us and takes care of us and will keep us healthy and warm throughout all of this. That's kind of why I really, really like all three endings for this reason, because no matter what happens, she's still our friend, and there are beings that care exactly for our well-being. And considering how little in regards to this game there's anything quite like that, it's still fitting to know that there are plenty that do. And when you're confronted by something as evil looking as the Moon Presence itself, it's no surprise there. But aside from that, it's fitting again, probably the most evil character in all of Bloodborne would turn out to be the one that's the most satisfying to defeat. Yeah, people may not necessarily like the Moon Presence because it's a little bit of a damp squib, or a damp squid, if you will, considering what happens afterwards. But I think for context, for killing basically the most evil character in all of Bloodborne, it doesn't really sound that bad. There are tragic characters, there are characters that descend into madness, there are characters that don't have the best intentions. There are some that do, some that are blinded by the pursuit of knowledge and insight. There are also those who genuinely just sort of want to survive in this world, and some who are granted that power, some of which are perfectly content, some of which are driven to the brinks of insanity. I know I may not have talked about Lawrence a lot during these videos, but Lawrence probably got one of the worst hands ever dealt, because now he is a fire monster whose torso just sort of collapses and gives up halfway into his fight. He's shrieking in pain and terror, and there's very little that can be done about it. And with all that being said and done, it is time to leave the hunter's dream. It is time to wake up in the real world. And tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, the videos begin again. And I cannot wait to see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye for now.